Hello and welcome to the Bearded Horror Review. My name is Dan, aka the Boogey Man, and on this show I will watch a horror movie, either a classic or a new release, tell you some good points, some bad points, if there are either of any, give it a rating out of 10 if I remember to do it, and let you know if I think it's worth a watch or not, in my humble opinion. And last review I did Five Nights at Freddy's, and in that review I talked about there being a better Five Nights at Freddy's movie starring Nicolas Cage called Willy's Wonderland. And I asked my followers on Instagram if they wanted to see a review of that, and they did. So that's what we're doing. We're doing Willy's. So, some of you might not know what Willy's Wonderland is. It is a 2021 horror movie starring Nicolas Cage. The premise is pretty damn simple. Before we go further, guys, I'm going to let you know this is going to be a spoilers review. There are going to be some spoilers in there. I'm not going to go too in-depth into it, but here is your warning. And if you like this video, please make sure to like down below. That'd be awesome. Anyway, let's talk about this. So, we all know about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that came out in 2023. I said I did a review of it the other week. Here it is. Or wherever it is on the screen. I don't know. And I talked about how that film is, spoiler alert, all over the place in regards to plot. And I talked about there was already a Five Nights at Freddy's film that did Five Nights at Freddy's better. And that is Willy's Wonderland. It beat them to the post by 2 whole years. This is a Nick Cage film that came out in 2021. It's extremely simple in plot, but the plot is very good. And this film does not take itself too seriously. So, what do I think of it? First of all, we're going to know what the plot is, right? So, Nicolas Cage is a guy driving. We don't know where he's driving to or from. Seems like he's a rich guy. Cool His tyres get bust by some, whatever that police thing is where you, throw it across the street and it's got all nails in it and stuff. I don't know what it's called. Spiky McTraily spikes. And they pop all these tyres. It gets picked up. It's going to cost $1,000 to fix all the tyres. But they don't take card. They only take cash, and he ain't got the cash on him. So the guy who owns the auto dealership says, hey, are you willing to work off the debt? If you do some work for my friend, then I will do your tyres.
Welcome to Willy's Wonderland. Spend the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland, and I will pay to have your car fixed.
The friend happens to be the mayor, and what the mayor asks him to do is simply go into this old restaurant that they've had for a long time called Willy's Wonderland and tidy it up overnight. Simple enough, right? Similar premise to Five Nights at Freddy's, where he gets in there that night, and it's an old Chuck E. Cheese style restaurant where there's animatronics, and the animatronics come to life. Someone is driving a giant fart outside. I don't know if you heard that or not. But the difference there is that that's just one singular thing. That's the difference between the Five Nights at Freddy's film and this. Nick Cage wants to get his car fixed. To be able to get his car fixed, he has to spend the night cleaning this restaurant. And he has to stay alive while he's doing it. Simple as that. It's a simple plot. And there's another group of characters who want to burn the building down. But they can't do that because Nick Cage is inside. And he's been locked inside. And so these people have not the same goal, but they're in the same situation. They're focused on this restaurant. They want to either just get away from the restaurant or burn the restaurant down. That is the plot. And that's where the driving force is. Nick Cage doesn't talk throughout this entire film, but you understand what his motivation is. He just wants to get his car fixed and get out of there. Turns out he's a badass. And while he's in there and he's cleaning up, which he's doing a great job of, he also gets attacked by these animatronics one by one. And he is managing to fight them off. It turns out he's a complete badass. So when he gets the opportunity to maybe leave, he doesn't, because he just wants to get his job done. He's obviously a guy that gets done what he's supposed to do. He wants his car back, so he's going to finish cleaning that place. And this group of teenagers that go to burn this, teenagers, they're all like 25, obviously, go to burn the place down, that end up getting inside through the roof. They're then stuck in the same situation as him where they've got to survive the night. But it turns out Nicolas Cage is just a badass. It's a funny film as well. This film doesn't take itself too seriously. And that's the problem that Five Nights at Freddy's had. This film takes the idea of animatronics coming to life and trying to kill the patrons who were stuck in the building overnight and goes, that's a bit of a silly premise. Let's have fun with it. And so they do. You know, Nick Cage character is awesome in this. He keeps taking breaks every hour and just pounding energy drinks and playing pinball. And it makes some really good, funny scenes. There's a scene later on where Nick Cage and this girl are about to fight an animatronic, and his alarm goes off for him to have a break. So he literally just walks off, starts chugging energy drink and playing pinball. He's like, oh, I'm my break time, so I'm going. And you slowly get unveiled of what's happened in this restaurant and why it was shut down and why Nick Cage has been lured in there for the night. You get that slowly kind of brought to you. Yeah, not in the best way sometimes where it's actually just expository dialogue. But you know what? It works in the context of the film. And this film, it doesn't bang on about different plots and trying to be clever and all these ghost kids and bloody who is who and who is what and why people are acting the way they're acting. It's in this, we know that the mayor is dodgy and we find out that he's been doing this all the time. He keeps doing this, and it turns out that the tires were bust by the people in the town. The sheriff of the town, one sheriff hires some outside help to come and sit for the night and hopes that the phone doesn't ring. Because if it rings, that means the guy's gotten out of the restaurant and they need to go down there. Or something's gone wrong and they need to go down there. So everything revolves around the restaurant. And this is where it's so much better than Five Nights at Freddy's. Because everything to do with the plot circles around the restaurant. And nothing else. And the evil that's inside the restaurant. And again, spoilers. Here's some more spoilers coming up. Catch those spoilers. Watch out for the spoilers. You'll get spoilers in your eyes. It turns out that the people who ran the restaurant were degenerates, murderers, and not very nice people. And what they would do is they would hold special birthday parties in the super fun room for families. And once they were in there, they would kill them. Simple as. And when they were finally about to get caught, when all the evidence came back to them, they made a deal with the devil, doing a suicide pact. And this ended up putting their spirits in the animatronics. So these animatronics are haunted. So what the town does is they give, instead of these animatronics, which were leaving the restaurant and killing people in the town, they will say, hey, we'll bring you sacrifices every so often if you stop killing people in our town. So this is what's happened to Nick Cage.
You're here to be a human sacrifice.
And this is what happened to that little girl. Her family were killed and now she's a grown teenager and wants to burn the restaurant down and get rid of the animatronics. And the sheriff is the adopted mother of this girl and just wants to keep the peace by bringing these sacrifices. So all of these people's plots link up to that restaurant of, we want to keep it quiet. This Nicolas Cage just wants to clean up and go.
Have you been listening to a word I've been saying?
And he will fight for his life if he has to. This girl wants to burn the restaurant down because the family killed her family. The sheriff just wants to keep the peace because she's worried that the animatronics will get out.
Nobody is safe.
It all links up really well. Everyone's got similar motivations, but for different reasons. And that's what this film is really good at. And then we have some cannon fodder people along the way, people who are friends with this girl who also come along to burn the restaurant down, who are basically there to add numbers to the death count. But they are also their own individual characters. There's a couple who, you know, they're the typical randy couple that you'll see in slasher horror films. There's the guy who thinks he can reason with the animatronics, and, you know, he just wants a peaceful resolution. There is a guy who's in love with our main girl who wants to burn the restaurant down. And so he's there to support her because he's in love with her. And Nicolas Cage is there being Nicolas Cage. Now, as far as I remember, as far as I've heard, Nick Cage didn't speak throughout the movie because if he'd spoken, he would have had to be paid more. So he didn't speak, so he didn't have to take as big as a payday.
I enjoy a man of few words.
His character is awesome. He's obviously just some ridiculous badass who loves energy drinks, loves driving fast cars, and he loves beating stuff up and murdering stuff. And he does it extremely well. He's just a badass. Like, he gets injuries and cuts and he just puts duct tape on them. He gets blood all over his t-shirt and he just keeps changing his t-shirt every time he gets killed. He's saying like a Willy's Wonderland t-shirt. And it's just a real fun ride. It's an entertaining film. It doesn't stick around for too long. Doesn't try and be too complicated. It takes the horror for what it is, which is creepy, but with fun. We're talking about giant animal animatronics that have come to life. And this is where Five Nights at Freddy's fell down. It was way too serious and it had way too much going on. And maybe this film coming out 2 years prior to Five Nights at Freddy's is what threw a spanner in the works for that film. I don't know. But this film, Willy's Wonderland, which is basically Five Nights at Freddy's but, you know, they got around it. They found a way to do it without. It's a really good film. It's entertaining. It's just a bit of fun. It has a laugh in there, but it's also not restricted to shoehorning in references to any other media. It's its own thing, and it's really entertaining. It's one of those films you can just put on, and it's just fun. It's just a bit of fun. It's not too cerebral. It's not all over the place. Plot is very simple. The kills are kind of cool, and it's just a bit of fun. So I think you should go and watch it. I really like this film. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's entertaining. It's not goddamn Shakespeare. It's Nick Cage, brah. What more do you want? It's Nick goddamn Cage doing what he does best, which is be over the top, even without dialogue. And I really enjoy it. It's such a good film. It's like 7 out of 10. It's on Amazon. Go watch it. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And if you have seen it, what did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments below. But it's just a quick review, guys, here today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And hopefully I will be posting more regularly. I am getting up to 2 a month, and I'm getting there. I've got my whole setup changed again. Oh, look, it's me. But I think this is kind of what it's going to be from now on. I'm in a really good place, getting things set up. Now I've moved house and settled and got this new setup. So I'm going to be doing more stuff. I'm going to start putting stuff on my Patreon again. And I'm also going to be doing video essays again. I've got a couple coming up that aren't just reviews. I've got others that I've done already if you want to watch those. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking around so much. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you like that film. Like I said, let me know what you think about it. Any movie reviews you want to see, let me down below. Follow me on Instagram or on the Patreon. Patreon currently has a few free videos on there if you want to sign up to see what kind of content will be on there. All linked down below. And until next time, guys, happy watching.